To move on. All right, so here's the plan. I'm going to I'm going to try to implement the pages that are not currently implemented on this application. Now that I've got the Auth API working, there's a couple of things I would like to do at some point. One of them is to put my API code into middleware so it triggers on its own. So I'm not like checking it all the time, but maybe it's kind of like it doesn't matter here, because really all I'm doing is looking, am I authenticated? Which I'm going to do anyway. That's what middleware is going to do, right? It's going to go do. The only difference is it might save a split second of time because it's going to go to the page, it's going to do everything, and I'll just go is authenticated, right? And check. Here I'm doing some things that in my nav menu, which is the only thing that's really got the navigation on it, right? But once you get to certain pages, certain things have to show up accordingly. So I probably don't need this right now. I'm a little concerned by the fact that this calls so many times because, we get here and it seems to fire an awful lot. So we're going to log in and see now we fired again. All we did is we tried to change a page. Now, that's a thing I can check because I am kind of trying to make sure that we don't do this this piece if we're not, and we aren't, it doesn't go here, but it did trigger one step, right? It's reading authentication state. Well, what's the point? We know it doesn't have any data at this point, right? It's not going to get to that. So there's nothing to validate. So we're going to go ahead and hit login now. Now this is going to come back again. It kind of checks twice. I don't know what it's doing this first time. Apparently just running this other page is going to make it want to do things. And then we go through it and run all this stuff. Now we come back to it again. And then we're going to check our authentication state, run it, and we load. And now we've changed to the correct values. So we're good there. Everything's working in that sense. Now, I eventually want to change this. I probably should do that pretty soon. For now, let's go get my other pages to at least do something, which is my logout page and my account page. So we're going to go over here. I believe under account, there may even be a page already defined, maybe, kind of, sort of. Let's go look. I believe the page I'm looking for is account manage. It maybe doesn't. Well, I would expect it to at least show this. Select that again. Current project, match case. Oh, probably because I don't know how to spell. Okay, so we do have a few pages. So we got page, account manage, change password, account manage, delete personal data, disable. We got a lot of stuff that goes on that page. Page, account manage. We have everything. Account manage. Here you go. Index.razor. So this one, well, it's not loading. So we've obviously got problems with this. Whatever this page thinks it's doing. Let's see if I can at least get to it. Endpoint, account manage, contains authorization metadata, but a middleware was not found that supports authorization. Okay, so this one's going to use middleware, which I understand. So that must be there at the top here, authorized. Must be an authorized state. Or authentication required or something. Status page. Sign-in manager, user manager. I don't know what these are, so I Identity. Again, some of this is built in for the app to have this stuff, and yes, it would probably be good to use it, but I'm trying to see at what point. So it's doing, I would think it would be authorized or some kind of, must be one of these injections that are blocking it out. Nothing like working with code that's, you know, wasn't written by me. Data and annotations validator. Validation summary. Input phone number. Please enter your phone number. Please choose your username. User default. User phone number. Cascade. Context. Input. Username. User password. On valid. Submit. Sign-in manager. Redirect. Private sealed class. So somehow this is defined as, where is this page? What is this? Index.razor. Is it in here? It is. So maybe everything that's under this manage folder, change password, delete, email, razor, enable authenticator. So somehow I think these guys are all defined as secured. Set password, reset authentication, generate recovery codes. They must be somehow defined as everything underneath manage is secured. That's what I'm thinking. Let's go to routes to razor. Now we know none of this works. So there's that. Like none of this authorized view stuff works, but somewhere and it's because it's defaulted into it's defaulted code or code that was, you know, designed into the template that just doesn't do anything because I tried. Now I can look at the code and I don't mind using middleware, to be honest. I actually like the use of middleware. I just don't know endpoint account manage. Configure application startup by adding, okay, how do I know where account manage is being utilized? Management nav menu. Oh. Manage nav menu. So basically everything with that stuff. Where is manage nav menu? Share. Must be something to do with this sign-in manager. Because it injects sign-in manager and then get external authentication schemes. I'm trying to figure out what's triggering this authentication manager, or, you know, this. this error. Let's see. Endpoint account managed contains authorization metadata. Where does it contain that? In the application startup code, if there are calls to app.use routing and app.use endpoints, the call to app.use authorization must go between them. App.use authorization. Well, I have use authorization, but I do not have, I have use authentication. All right, let's see what it's index.razor. I would imagine it's inside of one of these. What is sign-in manager? I'm going to need this pinned. And then we're going to go here. We're going to go sign-in manager. Our user manager. Where are these things? Yeah, whatever. Getting an error. Page includes authorization metadata. Where is that metadata? It's that there's a missing or incorrect authentication setup for the page, particularly for pages that require user authentication. In this case, it looks like you need to ensure that the page is properly configured to handle authorization, especially when dealing with user management in a Blazor application. Add authorize attributes. Since the page appears to be profile management, which likely requires user authentication, you need to add the authorize attribute to ensure that only authenticated users can access the page. Well, okay, I mean, that's fine, but I don't think that's the problem. I'm just saying, I don't think that's the problem. It does need to have authentication, which is fine. That I don't think that's going to fix the problem, though, to be honest. So we're gonna have to. You know, what's funny is that restart thing ain't working. It just stops. It makes me start again, or at least it wasn't. Oh, now what? The type or namespace name authorized attribute cannot be found. Okay. Let's try that again. This is .NET 8 Blazor web application. Server side. Huh, still says put it in. It's interesting because, yeah, it didn't work. Hmm. All right, let's try this. Getting authorized attribute cannot be found. It's kind of funny. It tells you, oh yeah, well that's because this type of code don't use it. And I'm like, yeah, okay, why did you tell me to do it then? Because I wasn't trying to do that. There's no authorized view. I think some of these injections are actually injecting and creating a state that's triggering this. Cascading parameter. I wonder if that's a thing. I wonder if that has something to do with why my stuff wasn't working. Because I didn't do a cascading parameter. What is a cascading parameter? Good question. Please choose your username. Let's see here. I think the problem is that I got to figure out what user manager is and sign-in manager are. Let me go to it. Go to implementation. Oh, so this is a Microsoft Identity Core. So user manager is not a locally identified project. Oh, that's what happens when you sit too long. You need to straighten out your back. Extend it a bit. Status message. Shared. So this page, I mean, All right, let's go trigger the error. Oh, I got so much to do. I was just thinking I've got my hard drive is full and I got to dump some stuff. I think I have too much games installed. Let's see. I'm gonna log in, click. I'm gonna take this out because I know this is working now and it's just a step I no longer need. Don't need to go see if the cookie's getting set. I know it is. Alright, and then we click here, which is giving me an error. And then we will go over to my specifically, you need to add the app.useAuthorization middleware in the correct order during application startup. Ensure that the authentication authorization added correctly in program CS file. Add. Here's how to configure it. I have that. Builder.services add authorization. I do have that too. I have that. Add authentication, add authorization. App.map razor components. Okay. I have add authentication. I have the cookie with the paths. Authorization. Do I have an authorization thing up here? I have authorization core. Man, I kind of thought I was through all this, but apparently I'm still stumbling on stuff. I don't know if I should just create the page and do my same thing. I would like to do it, you know, nice. Let's see. Blazor server uses a central authorization using via the custom state. If you're not using authorized tag directly, you may want to ensure the authorization state is still being respected. Globally across your application, and Blazor Web Assembly is often used, but for Blazor server, you will typically use custom. Yes, I got that. I have that. I have that. If you're using cookie based, make sure that both use authentication and use authorization are in the right order. I have that. All right, so what I'm going to do here, before I start messing with stuff, I'm going to go to my program.cs. I'm going to hit stop here. It's time to check in. We'll just send all my stuff up to get changes, and we're going to go currently auth API working with toggling menu items. And we'll say commit all and push. This will get me all of my current code up to Git, and I can move on without having to worry so much about changes, because I'll be able to undo them. So I'm going to try just doing a copy code. See, will this even work? No, see, this is only a fraction. I hate when they do that. Only give you part of the code. So it's everything that's from var builder down. How much is this going to break? Because this seems to be doing stuff. Is not everything. Builder. Your existing services, so it's doing this. But builder.services.add authentication is like way down here. ACPT context accessor. I don't even have context accessor here. Oh, I do. It's right down here. So they're like going to make me write this again, authentication. Wait a minute. Yeah, validation. I have valid. Why does it always assume that I want validation by way of this? Add singleton. Trying to see what they did that was different. Razor components, interactive server component, add Razor pages, configure, API settings, context successor, clear providers, console, add debug. So I don't see any changes. Authentication state. And we got all these services, ILO things, and then app configuration. Yeah, I don't see any changes. And then we're going to go here, builder services, Razor, assembly components, Razor configure, context accessor, clear, add console, add debug, add singleton configuration, and builder.build. Use authentication, use authorization. The only thing I don't have in here is the use routing. Use HTTPS redirection. Hope that's here. Oh, use routing is here. And use anti-forgery. They put it in a slightly different order here, which I don't care. I mean, if it matters, then it's okay. We'll do it that way. And then map components and run. No, you didn't, because it was already in here. Add authorization core is right here. You did not. Says you added it. You didn't. I ensure that custom auth state provider is registered. Custom auth state provider. Add singleton. You didn't do that. It's already in mine. It says add singleton, custom auth state provider, custom auth state provider, authentication state provider, and then add singleton services builder. Yeah, I don't know what it's talking about. To ensure application supports role-based or other types of authorization. I ensured that custom state provider is registered with builder.services add singleton. Did that already. Defaults on authentication scheme. Or maybe it just says, it says key changes, but it didn't actually do anything. The custom auth state provider is responsible for parsing token and JRF. Yeah, I know. Make sure those are the right order. Custom validation of tokens. In add cookie, the onValidate principal event is used. Is that a thing I didn't put in? OnValidate principal. Yep, I did have that. OnValidate principal equals async context. Blah, 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 blah. Okay. I'm not sure it did anything. Wait, via an API. Oh, that's not right. That's not the right API. It's validate dash token. Interesting though, it shouldn't really be doing anything because I have a method in here that already validates the token, so I'm not sure what that's doing. but we'll give it a chance. Okay, so try it again. I fully don't expect this to do anything, but we'll try. Nope. Huh. All right. Well, I'm gonna keep digging. I'll let you off the hook for now until later. We'll see.